Hi, happy Tuesday, and welcome to the weekly Cross Training Women Facebook Live. I'm Allie, the Christian health and fitness coach and founder of Cross Training Women, where I help women transform their body and health biblically so that they can live fully and abundantly and carry out their God-given purpose. And in today's video, I'm going to be sharing how to eat more vegetables. So as you join, whether you're watching the replay or watching live, I would love for you to comment in the chat your feelings towards vegetables. Do you love them? Do you hate them? Are you eating enough vegetables throughout the day? Or are you kind of slacking and you want to learn how to increase your vegetable intake? Go ahead and let me know in the comments. I used to hate vegetables. I didn't eat any vegetables growing up as a kid, but now I do love vegetables. Not nearly as much as I love Japanese sweet potatoes, but I do enjoy them. And a big reason why I love them and try to eat a lot of them throughout the day is because vegetables are the most nutrient-dense foods on the planet. They are loaded with vitamins and minerals and antioxidants and phytochemicals and fiber. And they are also the lowest in calories. And so whatever your health and fitness goals are, whether it's to lose weight or gain strength or just improve your overall health, you must eat your vegetables and eat a lot of them. But very sadly, Americans don't eat many vegetables. On average, we only eat about 1.5 cups of vegetables per day. But the real sad part is that more than half of our veggie intake comes from potatoes and tomatoes. And when I say potatoes and tomatoes, what I really mean is fries, ketchup, and pizza. Only 10% really comes from dark greens and other vegetables like spinach and broccoli and carrots. So not good at all. And our poor health shows for it. All of our chronic diseases, illnesses, cancer prove that we lack good nutrition in our diets. We are not eating enough plants or vegetables. Instead, to make up for our poor diet, people are turning to supplements and to green powders, but these are not equivalent whatsoever to an actual vegetable in its whole form. And in fact, supplements can be more harmful to your health than health promoting. And so that's why today I'm sharing with you how to eat more vegetables. Hey, Ashley, thanks for joining me. So I want you to listen up and pay close attention because this is my little secret that I'm revealing to you. It's key to eating more vegetables, okay? Are you ready? Okay, so what you do is you go to a local grocery store near you. You go to the produce section, or you could even go to the freezer section. You grab some veggies, you put them in your cart, you buy them, you check out, then you bring them home and you eat them. It's genius, I know, right? Mind-boggling, really. Okay, I'm kidding, but not really. Now, I do have some tips for you today to try to help you eat more vegetables. I have 11 tips to be exact, all right? So the first thing that I want you to do, the first tip, is to just list out your favorite vegetables. What vegetables do you actually like and enjoy eating? I'm sure there's at least one that you like. And if so, start there. Start with the one or the ones that you like. If you don't like kale, then don't buy kale. We all know that kale has amazing, nutritional benefits. But if that doesn't get you excited to eat more vegetables, then choose something else because, first of all, you probably won't ever buy it. And then second of all, if you do, it will probably just sit and go bad in your fridge and just be a complete waste. And then it'll just discourage you from buying more vegetables in the future because you're like, well, the last time I bought vegetables, I didn't eat them. I just left them in the fridge. I didn't eat them. So what vegetables do you like and will you eat? Maybe you hate kale, but maybe you love green beans. Then buy lots of green beans. I have been loving canned green beans lately. I've been eating a can seriously every day, usually as a morning snack, but oftentimes I'll have it at right before dinner or right after dinner as well. I just love sprinkling a little bit of nutritional yeast on it. It's so yummy. So start with what vegetables you know and love. Don't worry as much about variety right now because anything is better than nothing. So don't let the ones that you don't like stop you from buying and eating the ones that you do like. And if you like carrots, buy a bunch of carrots. If you like cucumbers, buy a bunch of cucumbers and make those staples in your grocery list that you get every time. 2 of my kids eat green beans, so I've been buying them more often. That's awesome. Okay, and then tip number 2 is make them extremely easy and convenient to eat. And there are several ways to do that. So one way is by preparing and just pre-chopping your vegetables. So for example, if you like cucumbers, then take a couple minutes to chop up the cucumbers that you got from the store so that way it's ready to go when you need a little snack. And you can just go to the fridge, grab out the container of pre-sliced cucumbers and eat them. There's no barrier there when you're hungry and looking for something quick to grab and ready to go. It's already done. And so you're much more likely to choose that as an option. And then another very impactful thing that you can do is just to leave out your pre-cut veggies on your table or on your kitchen counter. So basically you're taking it one step further. You're taking them out of the fridge and putting them, in a more convenient spot where it's just going to be a lot easier to do, to eat them. And if you do that, I guarantee that you or anyone else living with you will start snacking on and nibbling on vegetables much more if they're just out and you can see them. And as you come in and out of the kitchen, it's the same thing when you pass like a candy dish at work. You just grab it when you walk by without really thinking much about it, and you just do it out of habit. And so the same thing goes with your vegetables. I mean, I don't really like raw vegetables that much. I still don't. But if there's some carrots out, if there's some pre-sliced bell peppers or cherry tomatoes, I myself will grab them and eat them if they're just because they're sitting out in front of me. And I notice and witness this all the time with other people as well, even kids. And so if you're having a hard time eating vegetables or getting your kids to eat vegetables, just give this a try. Chop up some vegetables, leave them out on the table, and I can nearly guarantee you that you will find yourself eating more vegetables if you do this, especially if you've got some hummus or something that you can dip it in. But if you do, use hummus, I recommend getting an oil-free, fat-free hummus, because if you go to town on veggies with hummus that has oil or tahini or sesame seeds in it, you could be racking up the amount of calories and fat that you're consuming, which can prevent you from losing weight if that's your goal. So this is a brand that I got from Whole Foods. It's Cedar's brand. It's fat-free, oil-free. So I'd recommend, getting something like this or even making your own, because that way, if, like I said, I'm not a huge fan of raw vegetables, but if there's some hummus to dip it in or something like that, I'll even be more likely to eat raw vegetables if they're out. So another extremely easy and convenient way to eat vegetables is buying them in a can or frozen. So as I mentioned, I love snacking on canned green beans. It's so easy to do. I just go grab a can from my closet. I open it, I wash it and drain it. I stick it in the microwave for a little over a minute, and I pull it out. I sprinkle on my nutritional yeast, and voila, I have a healthy, delicious snack in less than 2 minutes. So super easy. There's no preparation. There's no chopping, no cleanup. I just then stick the bowl in the dishwasher. So there's no excuses there. And I also love frozen vegetables. I love how easy and convenient they are. Again, there's no preparation. They're already washed and chopped. I just have to microwave them up for a couple minutes and they are ready to go. So seriously, 90% of my vegetable intake, I would say, comes from frozen vegetables. And so if you find yourself, you're a lazy cook like me, or you just don't have a bunch of time to make a lot of recipes or meals and to take the time to pre-chop veggies, then stock your freezer with frozen vegetables. Another nice thing about frozen vegetables is they don't go bad. You don't waste them, or you won't toss them in the garbage if you don't eat them in time. And as I mentioned, I'm not a huge fan of raw vegetables, but I love cooked vegetables. I don't really like raw broccoli or cauliflower, for example. And so if they're out, I wouldn't really eat them plain. I don't really like the taste. But as soon as you steam or roast or cook them, put them in a recipe, I love them. So that's another little tip as well, is try to prepare them in a way that you like. If you don't like raw vegetables like me, then cook them and go ahead and use your microwave. And that reminds me, I was recently talking to someone who is having a hard time making some quick and healthy meals. And I found out that she doesn't have a microwave, and she got rid of it because I think she was afraid of the radiation and just heard that microwaving isn't as healthy. It kills some of the nutrients, things like that. And I told her, okay, well, what's worse, eating a microwave vegetables that may have lost some of their nutrients, or going to the cupboard and grabbing a processed snack from, that has no nutritional value whatsoever? America isn't getting sick because we're becoming obese because of microwaving our food. We're getting sick and dying because we aren't eating enough whole plant-based foods. We're not eating a bunch of, vegetables. We're eating a bunch of processed junk and a bunch of fast food. So don't be afraid to microwave your vegetables. Sure, you might lose some nutritional content, but vegetables, like I said, are loaded with nutrients. So you're still going to be nourishing your body when you eat them. My third tip for you on how to eat more vegetables is that when you do make a meal, whether you're following a recipe or not, see if there's another vegetable or 2 or 3 that you could add. So if you're making a soup or stew, or you're making a curry dish, can you add another vegetable to it? The more vegetables you add, the more nutritious it will be. And this is something that I try to do all the time. If I'm making a recipe and there's only like 2 or 3 vegetables in it, let's say it's got like onions and carrots and bell pepper, I'll add mushrooms, I'll add zucchini, I'll add spinach, or what other vegetables I've got in my fridge or my freezer. So I'm always thinking of ways of how I can make it more better and more healthier, essentially. So I'd love and encourage you to do the same. And tip number 4 for how to eat more vegetables, this goes along with tip number 3, is to double the portion size of the vegetables in the recipe. So if you're making a vegetable pasta dish, have the vegetables outweigh the pasta and do like a 2-to-1 ratio so that way you're eating twice as many vegetables as you are of the pasta. And then tip number 5, I'm picking back off of the last tip, is make vegetables the star of your, plate or bowl. So, don't think of them as just this little side dish, which is what we usually do. Think of them as like a main part of your meal, okay? And tip number 6 is to eat them as a snack. I already mentioned how I love canned beans as a snack, but Brussels sprouts is another one that I love to eat as a snack during the day, or even as like a pre-dinner snack, or if I'm waiting for my dinner to cook, I'll have some Brussels sprouts. I like to take the frozen Brussels sprouts, I microwave them, and then afterwards I put a little balsamic vinegar and garlic powder onto it, and I love it. It's so tasty. So I feel like whenever people think of eating vegetables as a snack, they just think of raw vegetables. But again, if you're like me and you don't really like raw vegetables, that never sounds appealing to me as a snack. And so it's not something I would ever choose or you would maybe ever choose. But if you like, cooked vegetables like green beans or Brussels sprouts, then you totally could do that as your vegetable snack and that would sound good to you. So that's what I do. Tip number 7 is to start with vegetables. So if you have dinner and you save your vegetables for last, what often happens is you fill up on the other stuff and make little to no room for your vegetables. And so you end up not eating any at all, or you don't finish them. You just take a couple bites. So instead, start with your vegetables, fill up on them first, and leave little to no room for the other foods on your plate. Plus, when you are really hungry, that's when vegetables are going to taste their best, because vegetables, they're so low in calorie dense that they don't give your brain, or your brain doesn't release as much dopamine when you eat those foods because it doesn't give as much bang for its buck. And so if you start with more caloric dense foods, and then you take a little bit of your vegetables, or you eat your vegetables afterward, the vegetable isn't going to taste as good or as yummy in comparison to when you start with it. It's going to be less appealing to eat. So start with the vegetables first. You could even make a rule that before I have a snack or before I have any food, I have to eat, 5 carrots or 5 celery sticks, whatever it is. And then that way you're getting in more vegetables, but more importantly, you are filling up on the good stuff, and you might not then need the other processed food or whatever other food you were going to eat after that, or you might eat less of those foods than you normally would. Because when you eat the good stuff, you leave less room for the, bad or unhealthy stuff. So eat vegetables before you eat your other foods. Tip number 8 is you could aim to try to eat a salad every day. A salad is one of the best way to get in a bunch of vegetables at one time. I love making a rainbow salad, especially in the summertime. I don't really do it as much in the winter. But again, I'm always thinking of what else can I add to the salad to make it even more nutritious? Is there another vegetable I could add? So the rainbow salads that I have at least 10 different vegetables in it, probably a lot more than that. And so a salad is one of the ways that I will eat raw vegetables. So that's also good. And I'm not saying that the salad has to be your main meal every day, but even if you could just have a little small salad before lunch or dinner, it's a great way to get in more vegetables without you becoming bored with it or feeling like all I ever eat is just salad. I think that's what a lot of people picture when someone says they're vegan or whole foods plant-based. They think like all we eat is like rabbit food and salads, but that could not be further from the truth. But a salad is a really great way to eat more vegetables. So you could try to aim to eat a little bit of a salad every day. Tip number 9 is to make a plant-based version of your typical meal. So if you like and regularly eat tacos, instead of doing ground beef or chicken or steak tacos, instead do veggie tacos or veggies with black beans in it. Instead of a hamburger, make a veggie burger. Instead of a meatball marinara pasta dish, make a vegetable pasta dish. Instead of a meat and cheese pizza, do a veggie pizza without cheese. Instead of bacon and eggs, do a carrot bacon swap with tofu scramble. So you don't have to like give up everything you love. You can make healthy plant-based swaps, and plant-based versions are absolutely delicious. So give them a try sometime. And tip number 10 is if you hate vegetables, that doesn't mean you can't grow to love them. It takes about 15 or it can take up to 15 or more times before you or your kids like a particular vegetable. So be willing to try multiple times, give them to your kids multiple times. You could also try cooking them in different ways, like roasting it, air frying it, steaming it, making it, extra done or slightly done, because that will change the flavor of it. And try them with different condiments and sauces and spices. And I promise you, you eventually will find something that you like. And then my last tip number 11, that goes along with this, is to just try to sneak them into your foods. So you could put them in your oatmeal in the morning. There's a period of time where I went and I did like a carrot cake oatmeal where it had carrots and apple and some other fruits and spices and stuff in it. So that was really yummy. You could make a zucchini bread oatmeal and, grind up some zucchini in there, or make zucchini bread muffins. You could blend them into sauces that you pour on top of your food. So I recently made a cheese sauce, for example, a cheese sauce. It was made from potatoes and carrots and onion. It had some different spices in it, some nutritional yeast. And I know some of those recipes include red bell peppers, and you would never know. So you could try making a sauce like that, or a marinara sauce using a bunch of different vegetables that are blended up. You could make hummus, you could make a smoothie or smoothie bowl with different vegetables in it. So there's lots of ways that you can sneak vegetables into your food without really even noticing it, or your kids noticing it. So those are all the tips that I have for you today on how to eat more vegetables. Let me know which tip you liked the best or which one you found most helpful. I'd love to know in the comments. But I hope that you implement these tips and that you take this seriously. You eat more vegetables each day, because the more vegetables you eat, the healthier you will be. And like I said, it will also help you reach your health and fitness goals, whatever they are. So eat your vegetables and eat a lot of them. Thanks for tuning in today. I hope you have a blessed day, and I will see you guys back here next week at the same time. Bye.